Dad's silent revenge.
At Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport, my daughter Amy looked me straight in the eye and said, "Dad, you're flying economy and we're flying business class. We need family space without complications." I nodded and walked toward gate A12 while she headed to the premium lounge with her fiancé Nathan and my grandkids. What she didn't know was that I had just paid $18,500 for all 4 of those business class tickets. My name is Gregory Stevens. I'm 57 years old, and I used to think family meant everything. For 35 years, I built my electrical contracting business from nothing in Phoenix, starting when I was 22 years old. I worked 12-hour days crawling through Arizona attics in 115-degree heat, running wire through new housing developments across the valley. When my wife Linda died 4 years ago from cancer, I thought Amy would be my anchor through the grief. I was dead wrong about that. After Linda's funeral at St. Mary's Church on Camelback Road, Amy started visiting more often. At first, I was grateful for the company. She'd bring Josh and Rachel over on Sundays and we'd barbecue on the back patio of my house in Ahwatukee. The kids would splash in the pool while Amy and I sat under the ramada, talking about anything except how much I missed Linda. But those visits always ended the same way. "Dad, Nathan's real estate license renewal fees are due next month. Could you help us out? Just $3,000? Well, pay you back when his first commission comes through." Nathan Parker was Amy's fiancé, a smooth-talking guy who sold houses in North Scottsdale. He drove a BMW, wore expensive suits, and had that kind of confidence that made me uncomfortable. I didn't trust him, but I wanted Amy to be happy after her messy divorce. So I wrote the check from my business account. Then it was private school tuition for Josh and Rachel. "Dad, Desert Mountain Academy is the best school in Phoenix. Don't you want the best for your grandkids? They'll get into better colleges, have better opportunities." That was $22,000 for both kids. Next came the divorce lawyer fees. Amai's first marriage had been ugly, and she needed help with custody modifications. Her ex-husband was fighting for more time with the kids, and Amy panicked. "Dad, I can't fight him without proper legal representation. This is about Josh and Rachel's future. What if he gets primary custody?" Another $18,000. The requests kept coming like clockwork. Every month brought something new. Car repairs when Nathan's Lexus needed transmission work. Medical bills when Rachel broke her arm at gymnastics. Home improvements for their rental house in Tempe. Vacation deposits for family trips I wasn't invited on. Amy always had the perfect explanation, delivered with tears in her eyes or urgent phone calls at 7 in the morning. I kept detailed records in my home office, an old habit from running Stevens Electrical for 3 decades. Every invoice, every payment, every contract, I documented everything. By December 2024, I'd transferred $42,000 to Amy's account over 18 months. She'd repaid exactly $0. The Denver trip was supposed to be our Christmas vacation together. Amy called in November, excited about skiing at Vail. "Dad, Nathan found this amazing package deal through his real estate connections. You should come with us." The kids would love to have Grandpa there for Christmas in the mountains. When I looked up the flight prices online at my kitchen table, business class seats were $4,625 each from Phoenix to Denver. 4 tickets meant nearly $19,000 just for airfare. But this was Christmas with my grandkids, the first holiday season since Linda died that I wouldn't be completely alone. I pulled out my credit card and clicked purchase without thinking twice. Standing in Terminal 4 at Sky Harbor on December 23rd, watching Amy whisper something to Nathan while Josh and Rachel played games on their tablets near Gate A12, something cold settled in my chest. Not anger yet, just a strange clarity I hadn't felt in months. The terminal was packed with holiday travelers, announcements echoing off the high ceilings, but I felt completely isolated. Amy walked back toward me after her conversation with Nathan, her designer purse swinging from her shoulder. She was wearing new boots. I recognized them from a Nordstrom catalog that had arrived at my house by mistake. $800 boots. "Dad, listen, there's been a situation with the seating arrangements." I waited. "Nathan's company only comped 3 business class upgrades. We tried to get you moved up too, but the flight's completely full." She shrugged, as if the universe itself had conspired against me. "That's okay, honey. I'm fine in economy. I just want to spend Christmas with you all." Amy glanced back at Nathan, who was now watching us with an expression I couldn't quite read. something calculating in his eyes. The thing is, Dad, you're flying economy and we're in business class. We need family space without complications. You understand, right? The terminal noise seemed to fade around us. Did I understand? I stared at my daughter. My only child, the baby I'd carried on my shoulders through the Phoenix Zoo. The girl I'd taught to ride a bike in Steele Indian School Park. The woman whose wedding reception I'd paid for at the Arizona Biltmore. And I didn't recognize the person standing in front of me. You don't want me sitting with you, I said slowly. It's not personal, Dad. The business class cabin is small, and we want to relax as a family. You get it. I nodded because what else could I do? Make a scene in the middle of Sky Harbor Airport during Christmas travel season? She patted my shoulder, actually patted it like I was a child, and walked back to Nathan and the kids. I stood there watching her lean down to kiss Rachel's forehead, watching her laugh at something Nathan said to Josh. What she didn't know, what none of them knew, was that I had paid for all 4 of those business class tickets just 5 days earlier. Right after Amy called saying Nathan's company deal had fallen through. As I walked toward gate A12, past the coffee shops and gift stores, pulling my modest carry-on behind me, I felt that cold clarity spreading through my chest. It wasn't quite anger yet, but something sharper than disappointment. Once we were airborne, I did something I'd never done before. From seat 32B in economy, squeezed between a businessman with a persistent cough and a teenager with noise-canceling headphones, I pulled out my phone and called First National Bank. The engine noise made it difficult to hear, but I needed those records. First National Bank, this is Nick speaking. How may I help you today? I pressed the phone closer to my ear. This is Gregory Stevens. I need to review my account transactions for the past 2 years. Can you email me a detailed statement? Certainly, Mr. Stevens. For security purposes, can you verify your date of birth and the last 4 digits of your social security number? My hands shook as I provided the information. What was I doing? This was my daughter, my family, but that cold clarity from the terminal hadn't left me. If anything, it had crystallized into something sharper during takeoff. Thank you, sir. In pulling up your accounts now. What specifically are you looking for? All transfers over $2,000. I need everything documented. While Nick typed, I stared at the seat back in front of me, at the safety card showing cartoon passengers in life vests. When had it started? Really started? Not just the money requests. Those had always existed in small amounts. But when had I become someone my own daughter was embarrassed to sit next to on a plane I'd paid for? Mr. Stevens, I'm showing quite a few large transfers over the past 18 months. The detailed statement will be comprehensive. Is your email still the same? Yes. That's correct. Sent. Is there anything else I can help you with today? I hesitated. Yes. I need information about establishing a trust to protect assets. There was a pause. I can transfer you to our estate planning department, but they're closed until Monday. Would you like me to schedule a callback? Please do that. That night in the cramped guest bedroom of the Vale condo, the smallest room, naturally, while Amy and Nathan took the master suite with the mountain views, I opened my laptop on the narrow desk by the window. The email from the bank loaded slowly on the spotty mountain Wi-Fi. My breath caught as I scrolled through the list, $142,000. In 18 months, I had transferred $1,422,000 to Amy's account. Each line item brought back a specific memory, a specific conversation where Amy had looked me in the eyes and promised to pay me back real soon. $22,000 minus Desert Mountain Academy tuition. Dad. You want the best for Josh and Rachel, right? $18,000 minus divorce attorney fees. I can't let him take my kids away. $15,000 minus Nathan's BMW down payment. We need reliable transportation for the children. $8,500 home security system. The neighborhood's getting sketchy, Dad. I'm scared. $12,000 medical bills. Rachel's specialist doesn't take our insurance, and the most recent one. $18,500 for these very plane tickets, transferred just 5 days ago after Amy called in tears saying Nathan's company deal had fallen through. I opened a new browser tab and checked Nathan's LinkedIn profile. Real estate sales were booming in Scottsdale. His most recent post, from 2 weeks ago, celebrated closing a $2.8 million house sale in Paradise Valley. The commission on that deal alone would have been around $80,000. Then I checked Amy's Instagram, which Shed made public again after keeping it private during her divorce. There was a photo from last month. Amy and Nathan at some charity gala downtown. Her an address I recognized from a Neiman Marcus catalog. $2,400, according to the website when I looked it up. Another photo showed the family in front of Nathan's new BMW X7 parked in the driveway of what looked like a much nicer house than the modest rental Amy had described to me. The caption read, "Finally upgraded. Blessed." 17 people had commented with congratulations and fire emojis. I kept scrolling. There was the kitchen remodel. Amy had needed my $15,000 for granite countertops, stainless steel appliances, custom cabinets that looked like they belonged in Better Homes and Gardens. There were vacation photos from Cabo, from Las Vegas, from a weekend in San Diego, none of which I'd been invited to, despite funding them. They weren't struggling. They were living like millionaires on my retirement savings. I closed the laptop and sat in the darkness of that tiny bedroom, listening to the muffled sounds of my family laughing in the living room downstairs. They were playing some board game, Monopoly. From the sound of Josh's complaints about rent, no one had knocked on my door to invite me. The fear came then. Not of losing my money, that was already gone, but of what came next. If I confronted Amy about this, would I lose her entirely? Would I ever see Josh and Rachel again? They were 12 and 9 years old. They barely knew me as it was, seeing me maybe once a month for a few hours at a time. But then I thought of that moment in the airport terminal. We need family space without complications. I thought of Amy patting my shoulder like I was a confused child. I thought of Nathan's calculating look when Amy told me I couldn't sit with them. Something hardened in my chest. I reopened the laptop and started a new document in Microsoft Word. Financial transfers, Amy Stevens Parker. I began listing every transaction, every broken promise, every emergency that had turned out to be a luxury purchase. By 2 a.m., with snow falling outside the bedroom window, I had a complete record of 18 months of systematic exploitation. I also had the beginning of a plan. First thing Monday morning, I would call that estate planning attorney the bank recommended. I would lock down everything Amy couldn't touch, the house, the business, my retirement accounts. Everything would be protected, but that wasn't enough. This wasn't about the money anymore. It was about respect. It was about teaching my daughter that you don't treat people like personal ATM machines, especially not your own father. I pulled up my email and started a new folder labeled Amy Documentation. Every email where Shed asked for money, every text message promising repayment, every voicemail with a new crisis, I would save it all. As dawn broke over the Colorado mountains, casting long shadows across the snow-covered peaks, I heard footsteps in the hallway outside my door. A soft knock interrupted my planning session. "Grandpa, are you awake?" It was Rachel's voice, barely audible through the door. I saved my document and opened the door. My granddaughter stood there in her pink pajamas, holding a stuffed elephant I'd given her for her 8th birthday. "What's wrong, sweetheart? I can't sleep." Mom and Nathan were talking loud. They woke me up. She looked up at me with those big brown eyes, Linda's eyes. "Can I sit with you for a minute?" I let her in and we sat on the narrow bed. Through the thin walls, I could hear muffled voices from the master bedroom. Amy and Nathan, having what sounded like an intense discussion. "Grandpa, are you sad about something? You seemed different at dinner." "Smart kid. Too smart for her own good sometimes, just thinking about some grown-up stuff, Rachel. Nothing for you to worry about. Mom says you might not come to my birthday party next month because you're mad at her." My chest tightened. "Did she say why I might be mad?" Rachel shrugged. "She said you're being mean about money, but I don't understand. You always help us when we need things." Out of the mouths of babes, even a 9-year-old could see the pattern. "Rachel, has your mom ever talked to you about money problems? About not having enough for things?" She thought for a moment. "Sometimes, but then we go shopping and she buys lots of stuff. And Nathan got that new car, and we went to Disneyland twice this year." She paused. "Are we poor, Grandpa?" "No, sweetheart. You're not poor." After I tucked Rachel back into her room down the hall, I could hear Amy and Nathan's conversation more clearly. Their voices carried through the heating vents. "Told you this would happen eventually," Nathan was saying. "Your dad's not stupid, Amy. Has never questioned anything before. Why now? Because you pushed it too far with the airplane thing. Telling him he can't sit with us after he paid for the tickets? That was cold even for you. What was I supposed to do? Have him hovering over us the entire flight? You know how he gets. The man just lost his wife. Maybe try showing some compassion. Oh, please. Has been playing the widower card for 4 years. And it's not like we haven't been there for him. My hands clenched into fists, playing the widower card. Linda had been the love of my life for 28 years. Her death from pancreatic cancer had destroyed me, and Amy knew it. We need to be more careful. Nathan continued. Maybe space out the requests more. Make them smaller. We can't. The real estate market's slowing down, and I refuse to go back to work. Not after finally getting out of that cubicle hell. So there it was. Amy had no intention of getting a job. She was planning to keep using me as her personal bank account, just more strategically. I grabbed my phone and opened the recording app Tim Lawrence had shown me last month. Tim was my business partner for 20 years and the closest thing I had to a brother. Had been warning me about Amy's behavior for months. Greg, Head said over beers at McFadden's sports bar, something's not right with how much you're giving that girl. Linda wouldn't want you being taken advantage of. I should have listened to him sooner. The Monday after we returned to Phoenix, I sat in the offices of Rodriguez and Associates on Central Avenue, facing Michelle Rodriguez, a sharp-eyed estate planning attorney in her late 30s. Her office was nothing fancy, standard law firm furniture, diplomas on the wall, stacks of legal files, but she understood my situation immediately. Mr. Stevens, based on what you've described, you're dealing with a textbook case of financial elder abuse. The fact that it's your daughter doesn't make it less serious. I slid the folder across her desk. 47 pages of bank statements, email printouts, and the timeline ID constructed during those sleepless nights in Colorado. I need to protect what's left of my assets from my daughter. Michelle opened the folder and began reading. I watched her eyebrows rise as she processed the numbers, the patterns, the sheer volume of money that had flowed from my accounts to Amy's over the past 18 months. After 10 minutes, she looked up. Mr. Stevens, I need to ask you something directly. Did your daughter coerce these transfers? Were you threatened or manipulated? No, I said. She asked, I gave. Every single time, and she promised repayment every single time. Michelle nodded slowly. How much of this has been repaid? $0, she closed the folder. Here is what we're going to do. First, we establish an irrevocable living trust. All your assets, your home, your business, your investment accounts, your savings transfer into the trust. You maintain control as trustee, but the assets are completely protected from any future claims. How long will this take? The trust can be established within 2 weeks. But Mr. Stevens. Michelle leaned forward. Once you do this, your daughter will likely find out. Bank accounts will show the changes. Are you prepared for that confrontation? I thought of the airport. I thought of Christmas morning when Amy had handed me a $20 gift card to Home Depot while showing off the diamond earrings Nathan had given her. I thought of Boxing Day when Shed casually mentioned needing just a small loan of $8,000 for property taxes on a house I discovered they didn't even own. Unprepared. There's something else. Your daughter mentioned having you declared incompetent. If she tries that route, we need to be ready. My blood ran cold. She can do that? She can try. That's why we're going to get ahead of it. Michelle arranged for me to see Dr. Patricia Foster, a neuropsychologist who specialized in competency evaluations. Well, have documented proof of your mental capacity before Amy can make any moves. The paperwork was filed on January 8th. The trust was established on January 15th. By January 17th, my phone started ringing. Dad, what the hell is going on? Amy's voice was shrill, accusatory. I was in my kitchen making coffee, and I carefully set down the pot before answering. Hello, Amy. How are you? How am I? I'm confused, Dad. I tried to access our joint savings account. You know, the one you set up so I could help manage your finances, and it's gone. Closed. The bank says all your accounts have been restructured. There it was. The joint account I'd foolishly opened after Linda died, thinking Amy would help me with banking while I grieved. Instead, Shed used it to monitor my finances and time her requests perfectly. I've reorganized my finances, Amy. Without telling me, Dad, I'm your daughter. I'm supposed to help you with these things. You're getting older. You shouldn't be making major financial decisions without family input. Family input? Is that what you call it? What's that supposed to mean? I took a deep breath. Amy, in the past 18 months, I've transferred $122,000 to your accounts. You've repaid exactly zero. Were those promises lies? Silence. Long, telling silence, "Dad, that wasn't loans, that was family helping family." You know, Nathan's real estate market has been unpredictable. The economy, the interest rates. Nathan just posted on LinkedIn about closing a $2.8 million house in Paradise Valley. Congratulations to him on the $80,000 commission. Another pause. "Dad, you're spying on us now. This is crazy. I think you need to see someone. Maybe early-stage dementia. We should get you evaluated." My hand tightened on the phone. Michelle had warned me about this exact tactic. "I'm not sick, Amy. Nathan and I are concerned. We're coming over this weekend. We need to talk about this as a family. I don't think that's necessary right now, Dad." Her voice shifted, softer now, pleading. "Don't do this. Don't push us away. We're all you have. Don't you want to see Josh and Rachel?" There it was. The threat wrapped in emotional manipulation. "I need to go, Amy." I hung up and immediately called Michelle. There, threatening the competency hearing. "Expected. Can you come in tomorrow? We need to accelerate our timeline." The next morning, I signed more papers in Michelle's office. Advanced medical directives, power of attorney documents, formal declarations of mental competency, co-signed by Dr. Foster, who'd evaluated me the week before. "Mr. Stevens, they're going to file that petition regardless. You need to stay with a friend for a few days. Get out of their immediate reach." I drove to Tim's house in Mesa. For 3 days, I turned off my phone and sat by his pool, drinking beer and watching the Cardinals lose on his big screen TV. When I finally turned my phone back on, there were 38 missed calls from Amy. The voicemail started desperate and ended furious. "Dad, please call me back. We need to talk. I'm sorry if I upset you." "Then Dad, this is ridiculous. You can't just disappear. I'm your daughter, we love you." Finally, "Fine, if you want to play hardball, we can play hardball. Our attorney says the court date is February 20th. See you there." The courtroom in downtown Phoenix was smaller than I'd expected. February 20th arrived clear and warm, perfect Arizona winter weather. I sat at the defendant's table with Michelle, while Amy and Nathan sat with their attorney, Marcus Wilson, a slick guy in an expensive suit. Judge Martinez was a no-nonsense woman in her 60s who'd clearly seen every family dispute imaginable. Amy took the witness stand first, playing the concerned daughter perfectly. Tears, trembling voice, the whole performance. "My father has always been generous with family. After Mom died, I worried about him being alone. I tried to help with his finances, make sure he was okay. But lately, he's been paranoid, accusatory. He claims I've stolen from him, but I never took anything. He gave freely because he loved us." Michelle's cross-examination was surgical. She presented every email, every text message, every broken promise. Amy's composure cracked when Michelle read the exact words. "We'll pay you back after Nathan's next commission, I promise. Stevens, you've received $142,000 from your father in 18 months. How much have you repaid?" "None," Amy whispered. "Nathan was next." Michelle destroyed him with his own LinkedIn posts, showing successful sales while he claimed financial hardship to me. Then Michelle presented Dr. Foster's evaluation, my business records showing 35 years of sound financial judgment and the pattern of systematic exploitation. Judge Martinez didn't even leave the bench. "I've heard enough. The petition for conservatorship is denied, Mr. Stevens is clearly competent and has every right to protect his assets. Furthermore, this court is deeply troubled by what appears to be financial elder abuse." Amy sobbed. Nathan stared at the table. "This court is adjourned." Outside the courthouse, Amy tried to approach me. "Dad, please, we can fix this." "No, Amy, you tried to have me declared incompetent so you could control my money. There is no fixing that." 6 months later, Michelle called with updates. The court transcripts had become public record. A Phoenix New Times reporter picked up the story. Nathan lost 3 major listings when clients discovered his family exploitation. Amy had to take her first job in 12 years as a receptionist at a dental office. They sold their house and moved to a small apartment in Tempe. Last month, Josh called my landline. "Grandpa, can I see you?" I'm old enough to understand what really happened. We met at Papago Park, walking the trails where I used to take him when he was younger. He's 13 now, more serious, but still my grandson. "I know Mom was wrong," he told me. "And I'm sorry. I'm slowly rebuilding my relationship with Josh and Rachel, but on my terms now. Amy learned that exploiting someone's love has real consequences. The money was never really about the money. It was about respect. And respect, I've discovered, can't be bought, it has to be earned. Sometimes the people who should protect you are the ones you need protection from. But it's never too late to stand up for yourself, even when it means standing alone. When someone shows you who they are through their actions, believe them the first time, not after they've emptied your bank account. The hardest lesson a father learns is that love without boundaries isn't love at all. It's enabling someone to destroy both of you.